Today, we're going to talk about something that is fun to talk about, or I think it's fun to talk about. We're going to be talking about nighttime routines. Do you have a nighttime routine in place already? Because when we are busy all day long and we're rushing from one thing to another, trying to get everything done because our lives are very full, there is a lot of things going on. We feel like we're being pulled in all directions. It can be really, really difficult to kind of wind down at night. And the reason this is because when you have so much going on, your brain just keeps cruising along like you are still tackling all of the tasks that you have and all of the responsibilities you have. And it doesn't have that like little signal to shut off. So a lot of times we end up just falling into bed without having a structured nighttime routine in place. And just because I say structured doesn't mean it's not flexible. But today I want to talk about creating a very simple nighttime routine that is easy to stick to and can offer tremendous benefits to you. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's get started. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. So I'm going to start off by saying that nighttime definitely affects a lot of us, or all of us, very differently. I myself am a like polar opposite of my husband. So I sleep very soundly for the most part. So when I'm ready to go to sleep, I can literally lay my head on the pillow and I can get cozy and get in my position. And within probably seconds, but within a minute for sure, I can just be out and I can sleep very heavily all night long. We have even had like massive thunderstorms during that night, and where my husband is up and like can't sleep all night long because the thunderstorms are so loud. And I wake up and I had no idea it even stormed. Like it's so, like, it's a blessing for sure because I have heard so many people that don't have this where they're up all night. And I actually did go through a period of time where I did kind of experience that where I could not rest. And it was several years ago, and it was kind of actually when I started putting these routines in place because at that time in my life, with the job that I had, it was over the pandemic and it was insanely crazy. I was so stressed and I was like more stressed than I have ever been. And it just consumed all of my thoughts all day because there was just so much to do. And I could not keep up. But every single time I went to bed, my mind was just racing with all the things I still needed to do for work, all the things I was falling behind on at home, all of the things that I needed to plan or schedule or whatever it was. They were just rolling in my mind because I didn't have a system in place to take care of these things and to also pay attention and take care of my body at the same time. So when I was going through this like super high stress time in my life, I was having a hard time sleeping, which also added more stress to your life or to my life at the time. Because when you are not sleeping well or not having that restful evening, you end up having more anxiety, you end up having more stress, you can't relax. And so on the flip side, having a nighttime routine that signals to your brain that it's time to start shutting down and to get into that mode of being able to have a restful sleep, that's what the whole routine, the whole purpose of the routine is. So the benefits of having a nighttime routine are what I just said. It helps relieve anxiety, it helps relieve stress, it helps you relax, it promotes a more restful sleep, it improves your mood, and it just feels good. So, those are just some of the very brief benefits of having a really good nighttime routine. And when you think of a nighttime routine, a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I don't have time for a nighttime routine. I have so much going on. But it does not have to be a 2-hour nighttime routine. That's not what I'm saying. It can be something super simple. If you are so busy where you're not even washing your face before bed and you're not even changing your clothes, you're just falling into bed at the end of the night because you can't stay up any longer and nothing about that is relaxing to you except the fact that you get to lay down and get off your feet. That is a problem. Like we want to be able to take care of ourselves so that we are healthy and we are showing up the next day in as the best version of ourselves. And creating a really good nighttime routine that you can stick to so that it is very simple is the best way to begin to make those changes to do that. So, one of the things that I want you to first ask yourself is what are you doing right now? Like, what do your evenings look like? And what does your bedtime routine look like? Now, I called it a nighttime routine because a bedtime routine kind of feels like I'm talking to children. Like, when you think of a bedtime routine, it feels like you're putting kids down for down for the night. But that is kind of what I'm talking about in this episode is the nighttime routine for yourself and your family if you want that to be the case. Like you could definitely do this for other members in your family. But really, I want you to ask yourself like what are you doing before bed? Are you doing tasks right up until you're going to bed? Are you laying in your phone scroll or laying in your bed scrolling on your phone feeling wired and just not being able to kind of turn your brain off and go to sleep? Are you, like I said before, falling into bed with the clothes that you've been wearing all day because you don't have the energy to change into pajamas? Are you taking the time to wash your face or are you going to bed with makeup on? Are you doing these things? Like what are you actually doing in the evenings to prepare yourself for bed? Is it relaxing? And then when you are going to bed the way that you are now, are you waking up feeling refreshed? How do you actually feel when you're waking up in the morning? Have you ever asked yourself that? Other than maybe feeling really tired, is there a way that you feel that's outside of that? Are you feeling refreshed? Are you feeling like you had a good night's sleep? Are you feeling stressed as soon as you get up? These are the things that having a really good nighttime routine, they can transition into being beneficial even for your morning because when we have the time to go through these steps in the evening to relax ourselves and to go to bed feeling like we have taken care of ourselves, then you can wake up feeling much better. You probably slept better, where you're not going to be as tired. You probably took the time to relax, where you're going to wake up not as stressed as you normally are. So I want you to be really cognizant of what you are actually feeling when you're going to bed now, when you're waking up now, and then once you implement a nighttime routine, how you're feeling with those changes. So, the other thing you kind of want to ask yourself is what is it that actually feels good and helps you to relax? Now, if you are, not somebody that loves doing skincare, then you adding a 30-minute skincare routine to your nighttime routine is not something that's going to stick. But what is it that you do enjoy? So we want to be able to choose the habits that we actually enjoy so that it's easier to stay consistent when we're trying to implement that routine. And once we are consistently implementing that routine, it's going to begin triggering that signal to your brain that it's time to start winding down because your body will start to recognize your emotions and you will actually start to feel that like when you're doing this consistently, you will start to almost like just do it automatically because it's that time. So obviously doing this at the specific time of evening consistently is very helpful. But even if you are somebody where your schedule is up and down, you don't have the ability to go to bed at the same time, or at least get ready for bed at the same time, then you at least want to do your routine at the same time and just see how you feel. So if you have never had a nighttime routine, my first suggestion is to start very simple. And it could be something as simple as committing to washing your face, brushing your teeth, and getting cozy pajamas on. My personal nighttime routine is still very simple. So I've mentioned before in previous podcasts that the it sounds so silly, but that washing my face at night is it feels, I should say, feels like more work to me than just showering at night. And I don't know why. It's something in my brain. It's just easier to hop in the shower and wash my face and brush my teeth in the shower than it feels to do it outside. So if you struggle with washing your face, brushing your teeth at night in the bathroom, just take an evening shower. If you don't want to wash your hair at night, put a shower cap on. Like that's totally fine. And then just hop in, wash everything up, and then you can get your body nice and freshly cleaned too before you're hopping into those super cozy pajamas and doing some skincare. So that is what my routine looks like right now is I shower and take care of my face. I brush my teeth right in the shower. Like I said, I'm pretty terrible at brushing my teeth at night, actually. I shouldn't admit that. So I'm not 100% perfect with this, but I am very good at washing my face for sure. And I have a toothbrush in the shower, which makes it much more likely that I do brush my teeth at night. If I don't brush them in the shower, it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to be doing it at the sink. But that's just a secret between you and I because I probably shouldn't have admitted that. But then when I get out of the shower, I do my skincare right away, even with my towel still on. So I actually just do something super simple. I have a toner that I spray on, I have a serum that I put over that, and then usually some sort of facial oil or a moisturizer that I really love. But it's super simple. Sometimes I'll add extras like an eye cream or like a lip balm or anything like that. But more often than not, it is something super simple like a toner, a serum, and some sort of moisturizer, whether it's a cream or an oil. And then I get into cozy pajamas. And this was one thing that actually helped me a ton was I used to go to bed with just some raggedy, shorts and an old t-shirt, whatever it was. And in the last several years, I started kind of investing in some actual pajama sets. And surprisingly, they make all the difference. It is so nice being able to go and just put on a cozy pair of matching pajamas. It sounds so strange, but it almost brings you back to childhood as like a little kid getting like pajamas for Christmas or something. And my parents still do that for Christmas. If you're there overnight on Christmas Eve, they get you Christmas pajamas, which I love. But that's a tangent in it for itself. But if you have not had cozy matching pajama sets, invest in it just one pair even. Like and they don't have to be expensive. They just have to be soft and cozy and something that you like. It can be a night shirt if for all I care. Like whatever it is, find something that you really enjoy that you're gonna enjoy getting on at night that starts sending that signal like I'm getting ready for bed. I'm taking care of myself for this. Now, this whole process from the showering, the skincare, getting your pajamas on can literally be 5 minutes. It does not have to take long. You can take longer if you have the time and you want to really enjoy each step in this process. But the goal is to start doing something that you will be consistent with. And if you're feeling really busy and overwhelmed, starting with something that does not take very much time, but keeps you doing the same thing over and over will be beneficial, even if it only takes 5 minutes. Even if it takes less than 5 minutes, that is fine. You don't have to hop in the shower like I do. You can just, wash your face. And I love the idea of washing your face. Whether you're a man or a woman, it does not matter. When you just splash your face with some nice warm water, and I like to do a shot of cool water after that because it helps, reduce pores, all that fun stuff. But if you are just washing your face, and you don't even have to use face wash if you aren't wearing makeup, but just wash your face with some water if you're not used to doing that. And start with that, pat it dry, get into some cozy pajamas, and that can be your simple routine to start. So the other thing that you kind of want to pay attention to are how you're spending the rest of your evening. So I actually used to do tasks, laundry, house cleaning, anything on my, task list, to-do list, but when I still had like a long to-do list, I was doing all of those things right up until I was getting ready for bed, or not getting ready for bed, since that wasn't a consistent habit either. But I was doing this all day long, and it was exhausting. And when I started my business with the podcast, I wanted to be really super intentional about not doing tasks in the evening, not working on my business in the evening unless it actually aligned with um like, sometimes I will work on it in the evenings, but most of the time, if it's gonna cut into time with Tony and I, then I try to move it to something else. So I try to be really strategic about where my time goes, and that's why I do my day stack to plan everything out, because that is the only way that I can keep track of where I'm actually putting my time. But for the most part, the evenings, I want to be very intentional about not doing those things. So it is very rare when we're doing like home tasks in the late evenings, like after dinner. If it's after dinner, we're not doing those things for the most part. Like 98% of the time, it's going to be time where we can just either go out with friends, go visit family, if we're going out of this, especially on the weekends. But if we are at home, then we're either making dinner for with our just the two of us and clean up with the two of us, like we do it together, or we'll sit down and watch a show or watch a movie or snuggle, like whatever we want to do. Like that's just time for us to spend together. And that was very, very purposeful. And if I wasn't being like very cognizant of that time, then I probably would be doing tasks all the way up until bedtime. But I don't want to be doing that. So I have to find a different time to do it. So if you are struggling with this, having those 5 foundational routines that we talk about here, and if you want to go through and kind of look at those and have the workbook that walks you through creating and implementing those, you can go to yourorganizedlifeblueprint.com and grab the workbook, or go back into the episodes and listen to those. But having those routines in place, they do help you to start organizing your day in a way that you can get those important things done in a very short span of time, so that you're not doing these things right up until you're going to bed. So you want to be really careful about giving yourself some relaxation time. So whether that is right after dinner, whether it is after the kids go to bed, or maybe it is, pretty late at night because you've got an evening job. Everybody's life doesn't look the same, but you definitely do want some kind of wind down time. And that is really important. So if you are in a season of life where you can't do that, I totally understand. But if you have the flexibility to be able to make a few shifts, then I strongly, strongly encourage you to just say no to doing tasks after a certain time in the evening, and you will have to decide what works for you. But make sure you're prioritizing that time, not only for yourself, but if you have a family, to also prioritize that time for them. Like they also need that wind down time so that they can sleep well. So, as we're going back, I should go back to to my notes here. Um, okay, so the next thing that I was gonna talk about was the timing. So, when I say that this is the nighttime routine and it's focused on the bedtime, getting ready for bed basically is what you're doing, that doesn't need to be just before bed. So, if you find that you are getting through your day and you have done everything you're needing to do and you're relaxing in the evening and you have been sitting on the couch watching some shows, and all of a sudden it's like it's time for bed, but you just don't have the strength or energy to get up off the couch and go do a nighttime routine, so you just end up going straight to bed, then you might want to consider doing your nighttime routine earlier. Now, this could be right after dinner. It sounds weird, but it might work. Like doing it right after dinner, so then the rest of the evening feels much quieter and calmer. Maybe it's doing it after, if you have kids, maybe it's getting the kids ready for bed and then immediately doing yours while they have some quiet time. Maybe it's getting ready for bed at the same time that they're getting themselves ready for bed. You know, you have to kind of explore different times and see what works for you. But if you are super tired later and that's what's causing you to skip any sort of nighttime routine, consider doing it earlier so that you can, even get dinner done, get everything cleaned up from dinner, go immediately and get ready for bed, and then come back to your living space, your living room, wherever, and have a restful and relaxful evening while you're already ready for bed. Like, that might change the game for you to have you to start to kind of wind down for the evening. The other thing that you want to kind of look at is what type of evening activities are you doing and are they relaxing you? So, if you are doing things that, spike up your energy all the way up until you're ready to go to bed, that is going to make a difference too. So, is there anything you can add, even if it's, 5 minutes of reading a book when you climb into bed? Like reading a book, as much as I want to read, reading generally makes me really sleepy. So, if I were to pull out a book in bed, I would be, out within, before I even turned a couple of pages, even if I was like super enthralled in the story. But it just depends on what type of things relax you. You might be somebody that reading a book is not relaxing at all. You might be able to do, a hot cup of tea. You might be able to watch a movie. You might be able to just focus on some one on one time together or just get some snuggles in. If you have a husband or a dog or kids, you know, if you have that contact late at night, it helps to kind of calm you and get that like signal, I guess, to actually have you to start relaxing and kind of sinking into the space. So, the other thing I want to mention before we move on to actually going through the steps of creating this nighttime routine in 4 steps is to really pay attention to your phone. There are so many studies out there that say not to be scrolling on your phone at night because of the blue light emissions and all of those things. There are so many reasons not to be having your phone. It's so stimulating at night. And if you are scrolling on your phone and you're having a hard time sleeping at night, try putting your phone away before you go to bed or before you even get ready for bed. Like maybe even like an hour before, go plug your phone into the charger and leave it alone. And if you have to put it into a different room or whatever you need to do, but try testing not having your phone around you and just being in the moment. Like that makes a huge, huge difference. And I usually try to not do anything on my phone. So when I come into the bedroom, I do usually have my phone next to me. I did try to buy an alarm clock so that I wouldn't have to have my phone next to me, but the alarm clock, like I think we got such a cheap one that it doesn't keep the time regularly, so it's always a few minutes off and it just kind of changes. It's like, well, that's not going to be super helpful if I'm getting up at the wrong time. But so I have my phone with me, but what I do, I can't talk. What I do is after I have my nighttime routine done and we're actually going to bed, usually I end up trying to do my nighttime routine earlier, but more often than not, we're probably doing the dinner and the cleanup, and then we kind of sit down and watch a show or a couple of shows, and then we get ready for bed and go to bed. But my preference is actually to have dinner, get ready for bed, and then go watch the shows. So it just depends on what you wanna do, but, when I'm going to bed, I actually plug in my phone and I put it on the nightstand, and before I even climb into bed, I set my alarm while I'm standing by the bed. I set my alarm, I get everything set up on there, I plug it into the charger, and I lay it face down on my nightstand, and then I climb into bed because then I won't actually pick up my phone. If I go to bed with my phone in my hand and then go to set my charger, I inevitably always pick, click on something and start scrolling. And then I'm usually laying there for a while and Tony's like, "Are you doom scrolling?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And he has to like remind me because I get so focused on just scrolling through just mindlessly because I'm tired, I'm relaxed, and it's kind of entertaining and I just start scrolling. So he has to remind me that I'm doom scrolling and then I have to put my phone away and actually calm myself. But then what I realize when I'm doing that, then I put my phone away and turn around and I have a hard time going to sleep. And I can't go to sleep immediately because my brain is wired where if I don't even look at my phone and start scrolling anything, I just set my alarm, put it down, and crawl into bed, I can be sleeping in a matter of seconds. It makes such a difference. So that is something to keep in mind. And again, just test it and see what difference it might make for you. So, like, let's go through these 4 steps that you can use. And this is to help you create a very simple nighttime routine that is easy to stick to so that you can go to bed in that more like relaxed and restful state so that you can have a restful sleep and wake up refreshed and ready to start that new day. So, number one, you want to ask yourself what helps you relax and what could help send that signal to your brain that it is time to start winding down for the day. Number two, you want to actually create a routine. You want to keep it simple and you can write it down if needed. If you need to put it on a post it note and stick it on your mirror for a few nights, if you need to actually write it down in a journal, whatever you need to do, create a routine and stick to that routine consistently for a while until it becomes more of that habit and just see how you enjoy it. So it could be as simple as, like I said, just wash your face, brush your teeth, and get into some cozy pajamas and do that consistently night after night and just see how you feel. You can add things, you can change things, whatever you need to do. Like I say, test and tweak, but start with something super simple and just see how it goes. Number three, you want to choose your timing. Try to do it consistently if you can, whether it is right before bed or it's right after dinner or it's while you're getting the kids ready for bed or anything like that. Choose like when you want to be doing your nighttime routine so that you have it in your mind of when you actually want to be doing it so that you're ready when that time comes. And number 4 is just kind of like a little bonus step is try to consider doing activities in the evenings that help you relax. So this is anything from reading, having that hot cup of tea, having some snuggle time, and just remember to consider putting your phone away and see how it feels. Do some relaxing evening activities if you can before you actually go to bed. So try this tonight, even see how it goes. It might not be perfect for a while, but the more you do it, the better it will feel, the more natural it will feel, and you will probably start to see even better results the more you do it. And then it will become a habit where you just do this nighttime routine because it feels so good. So give it some time to test it and tweak it and change where you need to change it. And hopefully, you can use this episode to create that nighttime routine that really sticks and helps you relax and get more restful sleep. So you aren't waking up stressed and anxious and, you know, being crazy busy all the time. Like, you need that time, you need that downtime to really rejuvenate and to let your body recharge. So if you have a friend that has a hard time, winding down, this might be a good episode for them. So please feel free to share it with a friend and help keep each other accountable so that you can both get better rest. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.